Hi, Jennifer Green from Yukaton, Mexico, and welcome to Silver Sage Magazine.
Well, thank you.
We're so glad to have you here. I have to point out that you're here because your sister is the one who recommended that you come, that you contacted Silver Sage Magazine. And so I'm kind of curious about that. So why did your sister recommend you and not herself?
Well, I think because I'm further along in this stage of changing my hair color and letting my hair go, and she's just beginning, and she's told me before that I inspired her to do it. So not just me, but my mother also. My mother has never colored her hair as long as I can remember. So, but I think that's why. And my sister's kind of more of a shyer, inward person. So, and she knows I'm outgoing. So that may be another reason.
Okay, excellent. Well, your sister is part of Going Gray Gracefully on Facebook, a phenomenal group that has over 11,000 members. And that's how I found all the women that I'm interviewing for this segment on how to go gray gracefully. I'm doing this because it's something I'm interested in doing and terrified to do. And so I thought, if I'm terrified to do it, and I consider myself a pretty brave woman, there must be a million other women out in the world that are terrified too. So tell me your story. When did you let your hair go natural, and how was that process?
Well, I started not this past December, but the December before that was the last time I had my hair colored. And I had actually gone gray before, probably about 6 years ago. I think it was 6 years ago, maybe 7. And I was looking through some pictures, and I kept coming across pictures of me from 7 years ago, and I just liked the way that my hair looked then. It just looked so much healthier, so much natural, more natural. And now the way my hair was colored before, it just didn't seem to match my skin tone. And I just, every time I would go back to that picture, I would think, I want to look like that again. Well, of course, now I'm whiter, there's more gray, but that's what made me decide. I wanted to look like I did before.
So 7 years ago, how old were you?
Oh, let's see. I was 49.
Oh, okay. And so at 49, you decided to go gray. And how gray were you? Were you pretty much all over gray or partly gray?
Well, 7 years ago, I hadn't colored my hair in quite a while. So it was totally gray. It wasn't totally gray. It was like, but there wasn't a change. Like now I have a difference here, but back then it was all one color, and I wasn't totally gray. I wasn't as gray as I am now. I'd probably say I was probably 50% gray.
So then you must have, something happened and you went back and dyed it again.
Right. I was feeling older. I think probably I turned 50 is what did it. And I decided I didn't want to look like a grandmother, even though I was a grandmother. So I went back to dyeing.
You were a grandmother, you didn't want to look like a grandmother.
Right, right.
Okay. When you were 57 and you dyed, or I'm sorry, 47 and colored, let your hair go gray. And then when you did it again, at what age?
I was, let's see, I just turned 56. So I would have been right before my 50, I was 40, or I'm sorry, 54.
Okay. So 47 and 54.
Mm-hmm.
What did your family think? Are you married? Do you have kids?
I am married. I have 4 kids, grown kids, 8 grandchildren.
Wow, you have 8 grandchildren.
8 grandchildren, yes.
I'm so jealous. I want a baby so badly.
Oh, they're wonderful. They're wonderful.
Don't tell me. I don't want to know because I want them so bad.
But yeah, but they've all been supportive. Not one has said, oh, you shouldn't do that, Mom. I think because I was gray before, they're just used to it.
Okay, but when you were gray before and you did it the first time, you were a young woman, 47.
I was young. Yeah.
So what did they say then?
I think for my family, because my mother has never colored her hair, it's just not a big thing, you know? It's not
okay. What about your husband? What does he think?
He pretty much lets me do what I want to do. So he usually doesn't. He supports me in pretty much whatever I want to do.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, you grew up in Texas,
mm-hmm.
and now you live in Mexico.
Right.
Why?
Well, I actually lived in Michigan before this, so
Okay.
from cold to hot. But when we were living in Michigan, God called us to be missionaries. So we're missionaries here. We actually have a church for the deaf, and we came here and learned Mexican Sign Language, and we minister to deaf people.
So you don't seem all gray now. You seem like on the bottom you have some brown.
Yeah, in the back, actually, underneath here, it is totally brown. It's not even gray, even up near the roots, and that's just natural.
That's natural. You didn't do
That's
that
natural. I did it tinted. I haven't done anything. I have done the same thing to this that I've done to this. It's just let it go. But that's the way my hair is. It's just darker in the back. So it looks very strange when I put it up.
Do you feel older?
I do sometimes. Sometimes I look in the mirror and I think, oh, who's that old lady there? But you know, this is the style now. Young people are trying to do the gray too. So.
Absolutely. You know, the young people are rocking the gray, but they also, you know, their skin is like this instead
That's true.
It's really different.
Okay. Hey, wait a minute.
I'm sorry, you look fabulous. You have no wrinkles or anything, but for me, I have I have my grandmother's, you know, the jowl thing. So
oh yeah.
I need a whole body lift is what I need. You know, if they did such a thing, I would sign up for that. But so you do feel older sometimes. You look in the mirror and it's kind of like,
right.
oh. But there's times you also feel sexy and beautiful.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And I'm finding that the colors that I can wear are different. I put on some things that I used to wear when my hair was tinted, and they just don't look as good. And then I'm wearing more pinks, more teal, more peach, coral colors now, and I would never wear those before.
It's interesting. It's interesting you say that. I go on the Going Gracefully and Silver Circle, and there's a few of those. And I notice a lot of the women talk about how their makeup and their clothing changes.
It does.
Why? Why is that?
I think it's just because of your hair color. Like before, I had my hair color darker, a lot darker, and so just the color wouldn't look as good. I wore more earthy tones, blacks and browns and things like that. I wore more earthy tones. And the same thing with my makeup. I felt I looked better with earthy tones. Right. And now if I put earthy tones on, it just doesn't look quite as good as, I think it looks better when I put pinks or coral colors, you know.
I guess as we age, our skin tone changes. And when, you know, if your hair color is different, I guess that would make sense that different colors bring that out better than others.
Right. I think that's
true. And it's funny too, because I see a lot of older women, especially like at places like the opera where pretty much everybody is gray haired, which I love. You know, I go to the opera and everybody has silver hair, but most of the women are wearing those brighter colors. Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know why it is. I feel like I feel prettier, I think, when I wear those colors.
Okay. Have you had any comments from colleagues or other friends, family members that kind of made you feel bad about being gray and silver? I call it silver because we're the Silver Sagers, you know, right. Silver Sage magazine. So we call ourselves the Silver Sagers. So I like that.
And silver sounds so much better. It sounds better.
Silver.
I've had a few people say things like, I've had someone offer to pay to have my hair colored, like they thought I was doing it because I couldn't afford it. And I had someone else tell me that there's no shame in going gray, but how much nicer I would look if I went ahead and colored my hair. And I just laugh it off and say, yeah, but this is what I want to do. So
it's interesting too, because on the site, you know, they talk about that, like having a nice response instead of getting angry and feeling bad, coming up with a good response that you can, you know, come back with that is nice, but understanding of their misunderstanding of the whole situation. Right. Now, when you were going gray, everybody has and goes through the same skunk period where you get the delineated line of the gray and whatever. So tell me about that time, both times, the first time you did it when you're 47 and then when you did it again. Let's talk about that stage.
Well, when I did it when I was 47, I really don't remember very much about when I did that. But this
Not
time
that long ago.
I know, but I don't remember. It seemed like I was always gray. I hadn't colored my hair for that long. I had stayed natural for a long time. So I hadn't colored it for that long. So it wasn't a big deal to me, but this time it was. And I went to my hairdresser here, because my hair texture is different than many of the women here, Latino women. Their hair texture is a little bit different. There's a girl that does my hair that is an American. And so I went to her and I told her, I want you to cut it short. And I showed her a picture, kind of a Meg Ryan kind of look, but a longer, like a scrunchy Meg Ryan. More like a little bit shorter than what it is now. And I said, this is what I want. Can you do it like this? Oh yeah, sure, I can do it like this. She cut it so short, I wanted to cry. It took everything I had to keep my composure there. And she and her mother kept telling me, oh, it looks so good. It looks so good. And I'm thinking, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. My hair was so short. I wanted to cry. It did make it easier growing out, but it wasn't what I wanted. So here I'm letting my hair grow out. I already think I look ugly because I have two different colors. And now I have this ugly hairdo I can do nothing with. It doesn't look like me. I mean, before I got my hair cut, I usually have it shoulder length or longer. And so it was a very hard transition. That part was. When you go to the hairdresser, they give you what you want.
Did the hairdresser try to convince you to not let it go gray?
She did, and tried to tell me that she could help me by we could make it lighter, we could color it lighter, and we could bleach it. First, we'll take all the color out and bleach it, and I never had that done before in my life, and I didn't want. One of the reasons I wanted to do it was because my hair was breaking. It was coarse and dry, and I thought, I don't want you to bleach it. That would make it worse. So I said, no, just cut it. And then when she did that, it was like, oh, I don't know if I did the right thing or not. But
and how long? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
How long had you been coloring your hair?
Probably for about 6 years. Probably 6 years.
Not that long. So you didn't really go gray or silver until you were well into your 40s.
Right.
Nice. You're lucky. And when she tried to convince you to do all these different things, how did you get the conviction? How did you get the courage to just do it your way and have that skunk line and not be afraid of all the people that were going to make these comments when they saw you?
Well, it was hard because there were some days when I went to do my hair and there was nothing I could do. I'd try to pull it up or try to do this and you could just see that line. There's no way you're going to get away from not seeing that line. So it was very, very hard. But I think I just was determined that I wanted to look like I looked before. I wanted to look natural. I was tired of looking, I just didn't feel like I looked natural at all.
And did you have any major events going on during the time that you were transitioning to silver?
Let's see. Well, yeah, in December, just this December with my dad, he turned 80. So we had an 80 birthday party and I knew I was going to have pictures. I went home for a special day that my sister had, and I had the skunk line. I probably had 2 inches and I knew we were going to be taking pictures. My sisters and I were together. I have 2 sisters. For the first time, the 3 of us in a long time, and we went up to see my mother. So the 3 of us and my mother were together. We have all these pictures where I look back and it's like, oh. I also had that horrible haircut during that time growing out. So yeah, but I think when you make up your mind, that's what you're going to do. For me, when I make up my mind to do something and I've really made up my mind, I do it. Mm-hmm. But I'll tell you what, near the end here when I was tempted, my sister signed me up for the Going Gray Gracefully, and that's really helped. And now I really try to encourage those ladies, because recently there have been a few ladies that have said, I think I'm going to do it. I'm just going to go ahead and have it colored, or I'm going to have her touch up my roots one last time. And it's like, no, don't do it. You'll be starting all over again.
It's so hard. I mean, that's why I go on these sites, to get the courage, because it starts to grow in. For me, my hair starts to, go gray. And then I'm thinking like, I kind of like it. I like the color. It's silver. And I think it looks, I like the color gray. I'm wearing gray now. I think it looks good with my skin tone.
Yeah.
And I like it. And then it gets a little bit longer, right? So then you get that skunk and I'm like, oh, I can't, and then I go and color it because I'm not strong enough.
I think if some lady could invent a way to make it easier, some product that would make it easier, she'd make a killing on it. But there's no easy way. You just have to.
I met Sheila the other night from New York, and she has some kind of shampoo. I wrote it down. It's called Viral Shampoo. I'm going to check it out. I haven't had a chance yet, but it's some kind of shampoo that you can shampoo it in, and you can pick a gray and help the transition process, and it kind of washes out over time. I also met another lovely woman who dyed just the bottom to match the top as it was growing in. So that was kind of a cool thing, right? So I'd never heard of that. But I don't know how you do that, right? And then a lot of people have been telling me, you have to do Lowlights. Why I don't know the difference between the highlights and lowlights, whatever. But I think there are ways, but I do agree with you. I think the number one typical way is that they bleach your hair, they strip all the color out, and then they go to gray. And that's really not healthy for your hair.
No, it's not. My hairdresser did tell me about some kind of product that, like, it's almost like a mascara one that you can paint your roots. But it's not permanent. It's just like for special occasions if you're going somewhere.
Exactly.
But here in Mexico, I couldn't find anything. And I think if I could, I probably wouldn't be able to find it in my color. So I didn't do it.
It's actually interesting you mention that because sometimes you forget about all those kinds of products. And yes, my sister does that if she's in between and she's not even close to. She keeps saying to me, you do it first and then I'll do it. That's her thing. Just like you and your sister, right? You do it first and then she'll go. But she does that wand thing all the time. She'll wand it in before something. And I forget about that, but that's a good thing. But you need a lot of wand if you're going to.
Yeah, you're going to grow it out. Now, my sister, she got a really cute pixie haircut. And her hair's blonde. So she's been dyeing her hair blonde for a while, but she was a natural blonde before. And hers looks really cute so far. She's been doing, I think 3 months now, maybe, and hers looks really cute.
If you had advice for me or any other woman who's a silver sager who's thinking about doing this and going gray gracefully, what advice would you give?
Well, I would give you the advice to do it naturally. I know I see ladies on there all the time talking about having it stripped down and all that. I would say do it naturally. Try to get a cute haircut, try to get a cute haircut that you like so that you'll be happy with it. And as you're going along doing it and you get frustrated, go get yourself a new hair thing or go get yourself a new blouse or something that would make you feel beautiful again. Because there's going to be times when you're going to look in that mirror and you're going to say, I don't know if I can do this. Keep your eye on the prize, I guess you'd say. Keep your eye on the prize.
Okay.
One day, because you look at those ladies, there's some ladies on the Going Gray Gracefully, and I would suggest joining something like Going Gray Gracefully.
I'm on there, yeah. I'm on there.
Look at those ladies who have long, totally gray hair, and it is so pretty.
All right, so your recommendation and advice to women is go for it, be strong.
Right.
Go natural.
Go natural and keep your eye on the prize. Decide what you want. Is it that you want a short pixie gray hair, or that you want, why are you doing it? Why are you doing it? And keep your eye on that prize.
And buy something that makes you feel pretty and sexy when it gets tough.
Right, when it gets
tough.
I
like that because then I can just keep buying stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
More clothes.
And experiment with new colors and new shades of things.
Right. That's it. It's good advice. I like it. Well, Jennifer, thank you so much for being with us here tonight at the studio. And I know we have such a time change, so I really appreciate you, talking to me today. And hopefully we will meet again sometime, but in the meantime, spread the word of Silver Sage, and thank you so much.
Well, thank you for inviting me, and thank you for interviewing me.